Now it's time for 3x3 Experiment by JCD, comparing stories from ABC, CBS, and NBC. The never-ending 3x3.
Now, and no signs this evening that Russia is scaling back its military buildup along the border, despite pressure from the U.S. and NATO.
Now to the frigid relationship between the U.S. and Russia over Ukraine. This was a day of both diplomatic discussions and military maneuvers.
Now to the tensions with Russia over Ukraine, the U.S. delivering today a written response to Russia's demands that Ukraine would never join NATO. The U.S. making no such promise. Here's our senior foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell, from Ukraine again tonight.
Tonight, the U.S. ambassador to Moscow delivering America's official response to Russia's security demand.
Our Richard Engel is in Ukraine and has the very latest.
This time, Russia mobilized its ships in the Black Sea as it continues its military buildup for a possible invasion of Ukraine. A Western intelligence official tells NBC News Russia tonight has 112 to 120,000 troops on Ukraine's borders in 60 battalion tactical groups.
No one is quite sure what Vladimir Putin will do. Next week, he is set to travel to China for the start of the Olympic Games. And the State Department says that may impact timing of an attack.
I think that probably President Xi Jinping would not be ecstatic if Putin chose that moment to invade Ukraine. So that may affect his timing and his thinking.
I can tell you that it reiterates what we've said publicly for many weeks and in a sense for many years, that we will uphold the principle of NATO's open door and the right of states to choose their own security arrangements and alliances.
The Kremlin's insisted it needed written responses to its demands that Ukraine will never join NATO.
Russia says it's all in response to what the foreign minister today called hysterical threats from the West to attack Russia and punish it with sanctions.
With more Russian fighter jets positioned in neighboring Belarus within striking distance of Ukraine, 6 U.S. fighter jets arrived to the region ahead of an attack that the U.S. estimates could come in the next 3 weeks.
Insisting Russia will not invade. Diplomatically, the United States formally gave Russia written answers as requested, which fell far short of Vladimir Putin's sweeping demand that NATO expansion since the collapse of the Soviet Union be undone and Ukraine never be allowed to join.
Tonight, the Biden administration saying there will be no such guarantees. Meanwhile, American F-15 fighter jets arriving in the Baltic states.
Western officials tell us they expect cyber attacks to cut the internet here, and missile strikes will be part of some kind of anticipated Russian invasion, with the goal of installing a pro-Russian government.
That's what's really causing all the tensions right now, is this very, very big buildup of forces, very combat-credible forces that he has along that border with Ukraine and in Belarus.
Every indication that he is going to use military force sometime, perhaps now and middle of February.
But the U.S. did put an offer on the table.
Was this just to show you tried?
As we've said, the placement of offensive missile systems in Ukraine, military exercises and maneuvers in Europe, all of these things would address, I think, mutual concerns, including concerns stated by Russia, and advance collective security.
We have plans in place that we can activate, execute on very short notice.
It's a really interesting point, and Margaret joins us now. So you have some reporting on whether President Biden would want to personally sanction the Russian president.
Well, Nora, the U.S. could sanction Putin, but at this point, the White House has not decided to do so. According to sources I speak to, if you do that, it creates some technical complications. If you sanction someone you have to negotiate with, how do they travel? Coordination-wise, it also gets complicated. What may be more effective as a strategy is putting pressure on the oligarchs close to him, their business interests, and their bank accounts, so that they, in turn, put pressure on Putin.
All right, Margaret Brennan, thank you.
There is no change. There will be no change.